We're 2 weeks into the FPL season and managers are already wanting to tear up their squads and start fresh. But which premium assets should we bring in if we're wildcarding? Let's find out. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of FPL All or Nothing. It is Thursday, August 29th. My name is Ewan. On today's episode, I'll be going over a Game Week 3 preview and talking about some premium assets and who the best midfielders are, along with the fixture ticker. I will be doing a little bit of a my team review on tomorrow's episode for the Game Week 3 hauls, just kind of mixing it up there with the schedule, but this will solely be focused on a Game Week 3 preview, just kind of touching on some bigger topics in the FPL community that have sprung up over the week. But yeah, if you are enjoying the content, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, rate the podcast 5 stars. Let me know in the comments below what you like, what you don't like. Early days for the YouTube channel, so always looking for ways to improve. So let me know what you would like to see on these episodes. But let's get right into it here with the fixture ticker. Best fixtures over the next 6, worst fixtures over the next 6. Antoine Semenyo pictured here on the left because he had an absolute storming game against Newcastle on Sunday. 1.50 XGI created. However, Bournemouth with the 4th toughest schedule over the next 6 weeks. Everton, Chelsea, Liverpool, Southampton, Leicester, and Arsenal in their next 6. Not pretty at all for Semenyo and the Cherries. So while he was outstanding on Sunday, I think we need to wait. Maybe we can get away with bringing him in for that Game Week 6 because it's Southampton and Leicester in back-to-back games, and maybe find a way to bench him for Arsenal. So if you're on a Game Week 6 wildcard strategy, that could be an area to bring him into. However, yeah, Everton, Chelsea, Liverpool in the next 3, just not that great, especially Everton coming off of conceding 7 goals in the opening 2 games. I would expect them to batten down the hatches. So it may be tough for the Bournemouth winger to kind of get some more attacking returns. As for the top 5 teams with the best fixtures over the next 6, it's Aston Villa, Ipswich, Everton, Liverpool, and Southampton. Ipswich, Everton, Southampton, we're not really going there all that often. Not a lot of people to not a lot of players to choose from, but Aston Villa is certainly interesting here. Leicester, Everton, Wolves, Ipswich, Man United, and Fulham over the next 6. Ollie Watkins really hasn't looked on it to begin the year. He's obviously finding his fitness, kind of getting back to match strength. Hasn't played 70 minutes in either of the opening games. Missed a couple of sitters against Arsenal that were well documented, but it only seems like a matter of time before him and Rodgers or him and Bailey hook up and Watkins starts his 2024-2025 bank account. As for Liverpool, so many picks for the Reds, which is delightful to say as a Liverpool supporter. Manchester United, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Wolves, Crystal Palace, and Chelsea in their next 6. So that middle stretch there, Forest, Bournemouth, Wolves, Crystal Palace, that is where we're going to get our FPL points. If you don't have Mohamed Salah, I don't have Mohamed Salah. I would love to bring him in for that Game Week 4 fixture, Nottingham Forest at home. But you've also got Diogo Jota, Luis Diaz, you got Sabasa, you got Trent, you got Andy Robertson, you got Allison, you got Van Dijk. So many options for the Anfield assets, and it's really hard to just pick which 3 you want. I've got Trent. Thinking about bringing in Jota for that Game Week 4. Right now, I have 2 free transfers. I've rolled the first week. I'm trying to roll this next week as well. However, one more injury or kind of minutes risk, and it could be all downhill. Right now, I've got Barco on the bench. I've got Solanke on the bench. And I've also got Nkunku in my team. So I really need to kind of survive these Carabao Cup ties and Europa League conference playoff, whatever's going on tomorrow night. If I see that Nkunku starts for Chelsea on Thursday night, it may need to be time to get him out of there, but we will see how it is going. As for the rest of the worst fixtures here, Brighton, Wolves, Tottenham, Bournemouth, and Brentford. I touched on Bournemouth. Spurs, their fixtures take a turn here. Newcastle, Arsenal over the next 2, then Brentford, Man United, Brighton, and West Ham. So yeah, not a great set of fixtures there either for Tottenham, but that's kind of where the fixture ticker lies out from now, from Game Weeks 3 to Game Week 8. It's been a high scoring couple of weeks for the premium assets in FPL. Haaland, Salah, Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, Sung Heung-min, Kevin De Bruyne, and Ollie Watkins is down there at the bottom. I did include Phil Foden in this as he missed game week 2. So his stats are looking awful. So I just didn't want to put him on there for no reason at all. But Haaland and Salah tied there at 24 points. Haaland is now actually 15.1 million. Salah 12.6. XGI goes to Haaland 2.10, Salah at 1.70. And then for game week 3, according to the rotoballer.com rankings, where you can find all my written FPL work, if you're enjoying the YouTube stuff, but you want to read some more, go over there, check it out. Haaland, 6.63 predicted points. Salah, 5.98. Those were kind of the big two that we were talking about in the preseason. Everyone was talking about before game week 1, all that fun stuff. You're going to go with Haaland, you're going to go with Salah. I know a lot of people went with both as well, so great job by them because they are flying at the moment. Cole Palmer reminded us why he took the biggest price jump in FPL history this past offseason, 5.5 million in a price jump. 19 points, 3 assists, and a goal against Wolves on Sunday. And I can't lie, he definitely intrigues me. I have Saka and Haaland right now, but it has come into my thinking that on a wild card, potentially this week, I'm not really ruling a wild card out right now. It wouldn't really be like the best budget building kind of aspect to do it with the international break coming up. That's 2 weeks that prices could go up and down, fluctuate. So you could catch some price rises there, but it hasn't like really left my brain that kind of going with Palmer, Saka, Watkins, Isaac, Trent, Robbo could be a very nice strategy for the next few game weeks there. But going without Haaland and Salah, I don't have that many couches in my house to hide behind each week. But getting back to kind of the graphic here, so I got price, FPL points, XGI, and game week 3 predicted points. Haaland, Palmer, and Saka lead the way with above 6 for this week in game week 3. Son pops up 18 points there, 1.51 XGI, 10 million. It kind of was sore to watch that game against Everton as a Dominic Solanke manager, thinking what could have been for him up front against Everton as well. Son hustled really well to get that first goal for Jordan Pickford. And then Mickey Van de Ven with the defensive runs to end all defensive runs, going from box to box and then just laying it off for Sonny to slot home the second goal on Saturday against Everton. Kevin De Bruyne grabbed the goal, hit the bar as well. 15 points in FPL, 1.85 XGI accumulated. Pretty much mostly in Saturday's game there against Ipswich, 4.99 predicted points. And Watkins, like I mentioned in the fixture ticker there. So as of right now, Haaland, Salah, Palmer, like you can't really go wrong with any of these options. The top 4, my favorite, Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Saka. That's pretty obvious. That's not groundbreaking at all, but it is starting to come into my brain a little bit that a Palmer Saka combo could be quite nice. That's for 20.5 million. So at that price, you're looking at Haaland plus Smith Rowe, and then like Salah plus like Solanke really is what you're looking at for 20.5 million there. So I would much rather get Palmer and Saka, 2 players that I know are going to score 200 points, whereas the Haaland and Salah builds could have ceilings with 300 points, but those kind of other players that you have to take them with, maybe 150, 140 ceilings for those 2 there. So yeah, Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Saka, the top 4, and I was going to rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to put Palmer up there. 1, Haaland 2, Salah 3, Saka 4, because Saka is just a little peripheral at times for Arsenal. But it's only been 2 game weeks. That's what I want to preface pretty much everything with for this game week preview. Just it's only 2 weeks of data, so I don't want to make too many like overreactionary statements. But as of right now, yeah, I think Cole Palmer is firmly in my thoughts, and I kind of can't get him out of my head heading into the weekend. Moving over to another topic of debate in the FPL community here, 5 million to 6.5 million midfielders. Noni Madueke, a hat trick on the weekend, 20 FPL points, 0.69 XGI. The models, as you can see here on the game week 3 predicted points, if you're listening on the podcast side, I've got Madueke, Morgan Gibbs-White, Savinho, Christopher Nkunku, Emil Smith-Rowe, Antoine Semenyo, and Michael Rogers um, on the graphic here, ranging from 5.1 to 6.5 million. And yeah, as you can see in the right-hand graphic, the minutes still haven't really adjusted in the rotoballer.com model and the rankings because Madueke is only predicted to get 1.69 points this weekend. Gibbs White leads these 7 midfielders with 4.50 predicted points, Rogers 3.61, Smith Rowe 3.56, and Semenyo with 3.41, Savinho 1.66. So they're really going with like the kind of tried and true members of the squad right now. Rogers getting a little bump there as well. 3.61, played all 90 minutes on Saturday against Arsenal as well. FPL points wise, Madueke leads at 20. Then it's Smith Rowe and Semenyo at 13. Gibbs White at 12. Savinho with 10. Rogers with 4. And Nkunku at 3. Nkunku is very close to getting cut from my FPL team. He's already dropped down in price 0.1. So not a lot to kind of feel good about there. I have to check the price again tonight, see what the kind of if he starts for Chelsea against Survey in the second leg where they look to advance to the Europa Conference League group stages, or I guess league stages, what they're calling it now. I don't know. But yeah, Nkunku could drop again this week, and I'd really have to get out of there because I swallowed the first price drop. What I'm really hoping is that Ebre Eze falls in price, and then I can kind of make that up because there's no way that I'm passing on Ebre Eze at a price fall, and it could kind of save me that 0.5 million because I would expect him to jump up quite quickly again. As for these 7 here, if I was going to give a top 3, it would be Gibbs White, Semenyo, and Smith Rowe for right now. Gibbs White and Semenyo would probably be the long-term picks as well. You could convince me between Smith Rowe and Rogers at 3 and 4. Madueke, just kind of like a one-hit wonder, I'm thinking he could be for this game week. Savinho, Savio in the game is what he's called, but Savinho in real life, sometimes FPL does strange things like that. Yeah, I just wondering if Phil Foden coming back, Gundogan's back in the squad or back with Man City as well. It could be kind of go back to the bench for Savinho there, despite 2 FPL assists on Saturday against Ipswich. And Nkunku, just really hoping he doesn't start or is like, yeah, not in the squad at all. Well, no, I want him to be in the squad. I just don't want him to start because if he's not in the squad at all, I'll just think he's been completely dropped. And then I'll start to freak out quite a bit. Smith Rowe's fitness is a little bit of a concern. Him and Rogers really close, but for long-term picks, I think Gibbs White and Semenyo are way out ahead. Rogers has looked really good in the first 2 game weeks. Smith Rowe has looked strong as well. Great finish in his home debut at Craven Cottage, but I think there's something untapped there with Rogers. But Aston Villa also has Champions League coming up, so that could throw a spanner in the works as well. But it's a really tough decision between all these. But I think long-term, Gibbs White and Semenyo should come out on top. Semenyo with the tougher fixtures, like we touched on in the fixture ticker there, but just looks so good at Newcastle. I really, really want to watch their game this weekend and see if he can follow that up. Moving over to the final kind of topic for the game week preview this week is the captaincy conundrum. I've got 4 guys this week: Haaland, Palmer, Saka, Salah. Haaland has West Ham away. Palmer has Crystal Palace at home. Saka has Brighton at home. And Salah has Man United away. Always got to mention it when Salah plays Man United away. Just a few years ago, had that hat trick and was absolutely electric. 24 points for Haaland so far. Salah 24, Palmer 19, Saka 18. You kind of just saw all these stats on that last graphic as well. 2.10 XGI for Haaland, 1.06 for Palmer, 0.87 for Saka, 1.70 for Salah. And then in the game week 3 predicted points from rotoballer.com, Haaland leads Palmer, leads Saka, leads Salah. So that is kind of where I'm at right now on my bus team. Saka is there, home game, early home game. Brighton, Man United got in behind them quite a bit. Bruno Fernandes had some opportunities. So I'm leaning Saka right now. I don't have Palmer and I don't have Salah. So that's kind of why it's kind of between Haaland and Saka to me. I feel like I can maybe take Haaland on away from home, but that's up in the air because he's coming off of a hat trick. The temptation to kind of just play it safe early in the season and just go with Haaland, see what happens, is kind of overwhelming at times, but it could be a chance to kind of get a little bit of a jump with Saka. And I've got 2 transfers, and the one kind of move I'm thinking about is maybe just like taking a leap, going from Haaland to Watkins. That gives me 6 million in the bank, and upgrading Rodgers or Smith Rowe up to Palmer and going with kind of this double premium midfield build. Ignoring Haaland, ignoring Salah sounds a little bit crazy, probably too crazy right now. I think my first option is to roll, because then I'll have 3 free transfers. And that means if I decided to play my wild card in the international break, I would still have 3 free transfers coming out of the international or out of the wild card as well, which would be fantastic. I would really, really enjoy that, to kind of chase some prices over a 2-week period. And then if I get it all wrong, I still got 3 transfers coming out the backside of my wild card. That sounds quite nice. But that is going to do it for the game week preview. Tomorrow I'll be back with the game week 3 hauls, which is players under 5 or on less than 5% of FPL teams. So definitely check that out. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, podcast, wherever you're watching or listening. And I'll also do a little like my team preview just based on what we learn in the next 24 hours in FPL, from press conferences, injury updates from any Carabao Cup ties, Europa League, all that fun stuff. But good luck in game week 3. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time.